Welcome to another one of our video presentations, and today is the 5th of July 2013. We're at the Strand Theatre in Marrietta, Georgia, as part of the 2013 American Theatre Organ Society Convention. And we're in one of the upper rooms of the theater with a guy named Peter Shilliday, who hails from Kansas City, the Kansas City area. He's been in St. Louis and other places as well. And we welcome you, Peter. And let's start out with, when did you first get involved or interested in music? And you're how old?
I'm 23.
23, young guy.
Oh yeah.
How did you first get interested in music?
Well, music's been a huge part of my entire life. I've, grown up with it. It was there before I was even born. My parents both play. They played in a dance band for contras and square dances. My dad plays fiddle. My mom plays a stride piano, or she would say, honky-tonk piano. And so music's been there my entire life. And so I've been exposed to various types of folk music. And I've been involved in dancing and other things such as that, and so I think it's just always sort of been there.
And how do we get into the organ?
Well, the organ happened actually all the way in college. I didn't find out about theater organs until I was 17. I was a freshman in college, and I was just sort of browsing around on the internet. And I've always had a passing fascination with pipe organs, and a lot of the music that's associated with theater organ. I'm a huge fan of jazz and a lot of different forms of jazz. But in college, I was just going around on YouTube, on places like YouTube or just various organ recordings, and I stumbled upon this organ that just wasn't something I was used to hearing, and it sounded different, but I absolutely just fell in love with the sound, and just tried to find as much as I could online. A lot of it was one of the things that I really took to were those recordings where you could really see everything the organist was doing. All the keys he was hitting, all the stops and the pistons, and watching all of that. And I was fascinated by the challenge of playing that instrument, just operating this machine. And that was just such an appealing thing to me. And I've always had really odd interests. So this fell right into that kind of a thing. And so from then on, I just found out what I could, connected with who I could, and then eventually I sought out the St. Louis Theatre Organ Society, and sort of got the brochure, and then started to go.
Been at it ever since.
And then been at it ever since, and just getting more and more involved as I go.
I forgot to mention that Peter's here at the convention, brought to the convention under a George Wright Memorial Fellowship scholarship that we have, which is a fund that the interest from which brings young people to the convention that have never been before. It's a one-time opportunity. You were highlighted in the Theater Organ Journal magazine that we have a year or two ago. I don't remember exactly what it was, talking about an instrument you built in your dorm room. I forget what the title of the article was.
I think it was called the dorm room Midditzer.
Yeah. Why don't you just tell us briefly what that was and what the opportunity, what it provided you?
Well, with learning organ, or with becoming interested in organ, I realized that I'm going to need an instrument to play. And because I was going to college at the Missouri University Science and Technology in Rolla, Missouri, I was not going to be anywhere near any pipe organs or any theater pipe organs that would be playable. So I realized I would need to make something so that I could work on stuff and practice. And so after doing some research, I found out that it's actually possible to use MIDI to bring some components together to make a playable organ. So after doing some research, found out that I can use, there's some electronics projects. There's all sorts of projects for this. So I chose one called MIDI Box, and this is a project where you can assemble a board and wire up some switches to a pedal board, and then take all of that and it sends signals to a computer, and just to get the manuals, I just bought a couple of MIDI keyboards and put all of that together and wired it all up to a laptop, and that laptop is what produces the sounds. So that's what I built, and I built that in the winter, or starting fall of 2008 when I got the pedal board, and then about February 2009 is when everything was completed, and I had a 2-manual, about 10 rank organ that I started practicing on.
So if somebody watching this were interested in building such a thing, how or where would they find out something about how to start at doing what you did?
Well, I think there's now, now it's a couple years later, there's been several people that have done this kind of project before. I was just using Google and finding things like just MIDI organ project or MIDI organ pedal board, and then searching through the forums, some message boards, and just figuring out what other people did. A lot of it is just figuring it out for yourself is part of the challenge, and also part of the fun. Each project is different based on the needs of the person making the project. It's very customizable. So there isn't, I don't really have any one specific answer for that, but there's certainly plenty of resources online if you just search around for it.
I remember you brought the thing over to my house one time and showed me what it was. It was really kind of fascinating, sounded good, and
yeah.
What's your aspiration in the organ world? What do you want to do, either near term or long term? You want to perform somewhere, or what's some big goal that you have?
It's actually one of my goals at this convention, is to figure that out. I've been going to the Youth Summer Adventures for the past 4 years now. So I've completed 4 of those events, and now I'm doing the convention here, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, because I'm not sure if becoming a performing artist, like the young artists that we're seeing going through the competition, or some of the other young artists at the Youth Summer Adventure, their goal is definitely to become a performing artist and follow in the footsteps of many of the great artists that have gone through here. And I'm not sure if I want to do that. I certainly love to play. I love to make music. I love to tinker with the organ and try to get a sound out of it that maybe somebody else hasn't. And so maybe doing probably some kind of performing, but maybe not in the standard performing artist sense.
Good. We're going to sort of phase down here. One last question. We don't know who watches these things. Like I said, what would be a good message to your contemporaries out there? Some young people like you who happen to watch this from a music standpoint, what would be the message you'd give them?
Would this be for people who are already interested in organ, or
whoever, people that don't know anything about it? They might even happen onto this YouTube by accident.
That's true. I guess this would be to maybe people who are interested in music but don't know much about theater organs. I can tell you it's been so rewarding to really get into organs and explore it. It's a fantastic instrument. It is absolutely limitless. Everything that you see on YouTube is only it's still a very small portion of what organs are capable of. With new technologies that are coming out, I think there's a huge amount of potential for the organ that hasn't been realized yet, just because the technologies haven't been explored yet. So this is to all the music enthusiasts out there. I would definitely suggest go check out an organ, and who knows, you might find that it's something that you like to do, and the American Theatre Organ Society's got a lot of great resources to help you get to an organ, and I think that it's definitely it's definitely one of my goals, and I think many people share the goal with me, is to try and make the organ do something it hasn't done before, and it's the possibilities are absolutely endless, and I'd love to see more people get interested in it and tinker with the organ and try and get some new sounds out of it.
Well, Peter Shilliday, we appreciate your time here today. We wish you well in your future adventures, and hope you enjoy the remainder of the convention. So we're going to sign off here. We're in Marrietta, Georgia. Jack Moelmann here on the 5th of July, 2013, as part of the 2013 ATOS Convention. So, thank you again, Peter, and
Thank
we
you.
wish you well.